Nashville. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy. Wow, what an incredible week this has been so far. I'm enjoying being a grandpa like you wouldn't fucking believe. And people have been so nice and so kind and so helpful. I just feel like I'm walking in blessings every day. Honestly, walking in blessings every day. God is good. Thank you, Lord. And welcome to y'all. Hey, what I need you to do is hit that subscribe button. All right. The share, please share clips. The clips are great. Leo's been working tremendously hard on those. I will not be going live this Friday. We are going to put up my interview with Dawn Lyons, my girlfriend, and be talking about, well, we already did the video, the interview, talking about her preparation for her contest, her journey, her first bodybuilding show at 56 years old. And I don't know. I thought when I left, she couldn't get any better. That's what I thought. I didn't think she could really get any better since I left. And it seems that it just day by day. But she's ready to finish. She's ready to step on stage, give it her all, and then get some food. She's not starving herself. We didn't do anything like that. She hasn't been terribly hungry, and our thing is eat as much protein as you want. You can't, it's like almost impossible to overeat protein. But just the fogginess of the last couple of weeks for her, I know has been a struggle for her. She's been working through it. So proud of her. And I think she will get rewarded for that on Sunday. Saturday. And of course, we're going to do another one after that. Let me see if I move this around. Is that good? Maybe that's a little bit better. You got to work with what you got to work with when you're in a hotel room. I am at the Grand Hyatt on Broadway, right at the edge of everything that is Nashville. And this town has been wonderful since I've been here. It's been cold, as you could tell by the way I've been dressing as I've been doing these. Hopefully the Congress gets shit done today, right? Especially the House, and that air traffic controllers, hopefully they're going back to work now, the ones that were skipping out. I kind of like that Trump said, hey, if you were showing up every day and some of your colleagues weren't, you're gonna get a bonus. That's what a businessman does. And we are a business. We are the business of the US of A. I firmly believe that. So, yeah, I think that's a great idea. And hopefully that my flight back is as easy as my flight was here. That it just seems like everything happened just at the right time, and God has been guiding me through. So I know I'll be taken care of on that front. Let's get into it. Okay, I haven't been able to do the prep that I wanted to do over this time, and what I've been doing here, I've been sending myself some stories to my phone so that I could pull these up since I don't have Leo, and share and talk with you about these. The headline grabbed my attention, and I wanted to talk about it, share with it. I don't have an opinion on this first story that I'm going to talk about. I kind of briefly just glanced through it, but the title caught my attention, and I think this is absolutely horrific. You have the left pounding every day that Trump is a pedo president. They call him pedo. There's no evidence of that whatsoever. It's pure speculation. And Trump had, just like President Clinton. Nobody's ever pointed the finger at President Clinton. Now, you might have some conservatives that say, well, but he went here or there. As far as we know, none of these victims, and they are victims, but none of these victims have said anything, and anything that the government has gotten, nothing's been said. And Trump is basically in that same ballpark. And for either one of them, if something actually came out and showed that they participated in any of that Jeffrey Epstein shit, I would want them prosecuted. I am USA first. I am USA first. I am Make America Great Again, and I was Make America Great Again before Trump was. So that is what I want. I want there to be justice. Here's the thing. We don't have evidence of that yet. We may not ever have evidence of that. Do I want the Epstein files? Absolutely, I want the Epstein files. Most MAGA has wanted the Epstein files, and we still do. We were promised them, we believe, and we want them. We want everything to be released. And the stuff that I've seen so far that I've looked at, the redactions were so ridiculously and heavy, I almost didn't even find it useful at all. You redact names. Redact the names. There shouldn't just be, you're not repeating the name where there's line after line after line that's blacked out, okay? They're not repeating the name 10 times. So something else is getting redacted there. What is it? And you just leave more for speculation for people. But these same people that call Trump a pedo, they're the same people that were for open borders. They're the same people that were okay with the cartels bringing women and children across the border for sex trafficking. Because if they cared at all, they would have closed the borders. They knew what was happening. They knew what was going on. They knew the cartels were making billions of dollars, and they could have finished building the wall. They could have continued with the policies that President Trump, you could say, is a pedophile, Cushman. And, that's your opinion. I think you're a pedo. I think you're a little weenie dude. So there you go. You're basically a loser. If Trump was a pedo, if there was information that they could have used against Trump to take him out, and at this point, they don't want to just take him out where he wasn't going to be president. They wanted to put him in jail. They wanted to scare Republicans and MAGA. They wanted to do anything they could. They came after him every way they could. But you telling me the one thing that one thing that they could have blown him out with, they didn't use, that's just idiotic. That's just motherfucking stupid. All right? Absolutely, they would have used that because they've been willing to use anything. They've been willing to lie and make shit up. They've been willing to use our FBI against a candidate and a sitting president. That should never be a thing. It wasn't a thing in the past. Okay? There was Watergate. This was actually bigger than Watergate. And y'all shrugged your shoulders. Well, fuck you. All right? Fuck you. It's just bullshit. So here's the thing. We are for protecting children. We close the borders. And then we have this story here. Let me go over this story that I found. And this is let me make my point. Texas man accused of child sex crimes avoids jail in plea deal with Soros-backed prosecutor. A Texas man accused of repeatedly sexually assaulting a child will avoid prosecution of 9 felony accounts. 9. After striking a plea deal with Travis County prosecutor. Austin's ABC affiliate, KVUE, reported that Richard Bell, 37, was indicted on 9 felony charges. Now, just because you're indicted doesn't mean you're guilty. But he did plead. But who wouldn't take a deal that should put you behind bars for decades? And many of us think it should be, you do this kind of heinous act, that many of us think, you know what should really happen? The death penalty. Many of us believe in that, and I'm one of them. Including 1 count of continuous sexual abuse of a child under 14. So he did it to many, and he did it to some for long periods of time. Why wouldn't he take a plea deal that does what? Keeps him out of jail altogether. How do you get 0 jail time? Does that make sense to you? Does that make sense to you? Well, it sure fucking doesn't make sense to me. Those charges were dropped as a part of a plea deal that allowed him to plead guilty to 1 count of injury to a child for a third-degree felony. You mean this motherfucker he ain't even serving 30 days. He was sentenced to 5 years on deferred probation. He must register as a sex offender and is barred from contacting the victim, her family, any minors. What about all the other victims? Just this one victim? That is absolutely insane. I was outraged to find out that this was not only our first and last plea deal, but this was our deal whether I liked it or not. The victim's father. I'm sorry, I skipped that part. Didn't mean to do that. The victim's father told KVUE he was blindsided by the decision and said the prosecutors failed to include him in discussions about the plea deal. To not even consider their feelings, no matter what you're going to do, is absolutely nuts. It's nuts, man. If you're following the program now, we're trying to build an audience. Been working very hard at doing this for a good period of time. If you like any of what you're saying, or maybe you don't like me, still follow along. Hit that subscribe button for us, all right? Follow me on all the other social medias, except for Blue Sky. I am on X, which is a struggle. Facebook, TikTok, which keeps shutting me down, and Instagram. So it's a great way to contact me. I will look at some of the comments later, though. But I just don't understand how this happens. That how somebody, they just don't care about the victims. They care about these illegals. They care about, well, let's look at the boats that we've been hitting, right? They care about the narco-terrorists. That's what they seem to care. The people that these left-wing nut lunatics care about is crazy that they care about them more than they do just Americans. Something has to be done. A judge that makes this kind of decision, and of all places, Texas? In Texas. I don't know how, it'd be interesting to see how the governor responds to this. Because I know when some pretty egregious things happened with the DAs and stuff in Florida, there were some things that Santos was able to do. Now, I don't know what the governor might be able to do about this judge, but there is absolutely no way that this guy should get 0 jail time. 0. That's just, it should not be a thing, people. But these same people that make this happen, the same people that aren't prosecuting people, the same people are saying that our president is a pedo and trying to act like they care about children now. They don't. They never have cared about children, and they don't care now. All they care about is a political weapon that they think they might be able to use, and they're walking around saying pedo, just like they did Hitler, and it's not working. It's not working. It never worked for them before, and it's not going to work now. We don't care. We don't care unless you have proof. You could call Trump Hitler, but until I see, it doesn't even have to be millions of people killed. Until I see 100 people killed, all right, 100 people, he's not Hitler. He's just not. And you make yourself look dumb and stupid by saying so. In fact, let me do this. I need to take a drink quick. I was watching Tom Ballou, and he does some great interviews. He's really good on the economy as well. He interviewed Destiny. Some of you may know who Destiny is, some don't. But he's a pretty smart liberal. He's kind of like the left's version of Ben Shapiro. Talks really fast, sounds really smart. And I think Ben is very smart. I don't always agree with Ben, but I think Ben is very smart. And I actually think Destiny is pretty smart. But I also think that he's the dumbest smart guy I've ever listened to. And just listening to just a recent interview that he did with Tom Ballou. And the reason I say that is he absolutely goes off unhinged about authoritarianism, about Trump, about the whole Hitler thing. And Tom handled some of it well. Some of it I think he could have handled better. I certainly would have pushed back on him when you use examples like the National Guard, for example. going into places. The National Guard there's no reason a president can't use the National Guard legally to protect federal facilities and federal officers. No reason at all. Can they patrol? Nope, they can't patrol or do that kind of thing, but they can assist when asked, and they definitely can assist the federal agents. And if those cities don't want the National Guard there, then they should let their local police, who should be doing the job, show up and arrest people and keep the crowds at bay when they're doing legal arrests. And that's what they're doing. They're making legal arrests. Easy. You don't want them there? Do the right thing. They're not doing the right thing. So if they're not going to do the right thing, you don't just get to shoot at our ICE officers, which is what's been happening, or throw rocks at them. Or you don't have a right to do that. Nobody does. So that I would have pushed back on Destiny in those kinds of ways. And, Tom didn't really bring it up in that way. He brought up other things, very, very well. But Tom also is not unhinged about Trump. He's not a Republican and he's not a Democrat. He just looks and sees, what his basic concern is income inequality and the debt and where our country is in the arc of countries and where we're at. And when countries do certain things, what's happened in the past, you can see what's going to happen and you see the fall of that country financially. And we're very, very close to being at a very, very dangerous point. And that's what he's looking for. Stay away from jumping off the cliff. That's how I understand his basic analysis. And I don't think he would try to correct that analysis either. So I think that's very, very good. But the Destiny, again, very smart, but he just sees the world in a whole nother way. Just an entirely other way, in a way that Tom doesn't see, in a way that I don't see. We're looking at the same things, and Tom kept bringing that up. I thought that was kind of interesting, that two people can look at the same thing and have two totally different takes, not even close to one another. It's one thing for us to each have a different view, but to just be totally opposite you're like, wow. What am I missing or what are they missing? One of the two sides is missing something, and that's for sure. But no, Trump is not Hitler. It hasn't worked. We're not Nazis. ICE agents aren't Gestapo. They're not brown shirts. And to compare them to such is just so far over the top. And knowing that people would never want or allow a Hitler to ever reign again, you would want to do anything you could do by any means necessary to stop them. And so that's what these liberal lunatics think. That's what they keep being told by people like Destiny. And then that's why you have people shooting at ICE agents. And in Chicago, who shot at an ICE agent? An illegal immigrant, an illegal alien who had other charges, who had been charged with gun possession and things like that before. And they just keep letting these people go. They either need to be put in jail or they need to be sent back to their home countries. One or the other. And it's going to be a lot harder to get back across now because we're not allowing that shit anymore. It just cannot happen. And this violence cannot continue to happen. And more violence now at TPUSA, an event in Berkeley, California. That was, you cannot allow these people to do this. They did arrest a small number of people, a handful of people, but we are allowed. You can hate what we believe all you want. We have a right to say it. We have a right to talk about our God. We have a right, even though we're Christians, to talk politics. And you don't have to like it. You don't have to listen to it. But you don't get to show up and try to stop us by using violence. And it's an intimidation tactic. What they're trying to do is to get other people who are conservative, to just not want to go and do these events because they don't want to deal with that hassle. But people like Ben Shapiro and a few others, they already have pretty intense security. So they're not really concerned. They're not really concerned at all. But this intimidation and this violence, it's very, very hard for me. It really is. Because I feel like I'd want to be there. I feel like, I bring in a crew. I feel like I want to call up some of my motorcycle buddy friends. That's what I feel like. And say, we're gonna protect this group as they want to go in and have this experience, have this conversation. Because obviously these liberals can't have that conversation. They're scared of the conversation. They just want to yell and scream and disrupt. They don't want to debate. They don't want to participate in a discussion. They just want to ruin it for everyone else. And how often, of all these you've seen, just look, even on liberal news media, even on your mainstream news media, if conservatives were doing this to liberals, wouldn't they be showing that on the news? Why is that not on the news? Do you know why? Because we're not doing it. We are not doing the type of shit that these motherfuckers are doing. We don't behave that way. But they do. And Destiny was the exact opposite of that, referring back to that again. So I do encourage you to check that interview out. It's good. I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing either that Tom has a relationship with him somewhat, and that he's interviewed him 2-3 times now, several times now. I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't want to shut them up. I want to hear what he has to say, even if I think it's crazy. And Tom handles it in such a professional way. Even when he's going off unhinged, Tom is over here calm, push back, calm, push back, in a very good way. He handles it absolutely phenomenally. I would probably be the opposite of Destiny, and we'd be going at it. But actually, I used to do pretty good with people who disagreed with me when I had my radio show years ago. And almost every liberal or Democrat would come on my show because I was fair. Because if you treat somebody like shit, why are they going to come back on the show? And I always count on the audience, actually. I count on the audience, you, to have half a fucking brain, and that you can hear my question, you can hear their response, you can hear if they evade and they don't answer at all, or if they give a bad answer, or they might give an answer that you like or agree with. But you get to decide. But me, that doesn't mean I would never push up or do a follow-up question. I would, but I wasn't a jerk about it because there's no reason to be. You get to decide, and then I have all this other time, just like I do now with this. I have all this time. I can say whatever I want, and nobody has to listen to this. You don't have to listen to this. If you're listening, you're choosing to, whether you agree or disagree. And that's it. That's how it should be. You should get to decide. And hopefully that we're able to continue to do that, because I can tell you, we wouldn't be doing this right now if Kamala Harris would have been in office. People that think we would be in some kind of better position. Now, a better position in what exactly? Let me see. All right. The feds are investigating that TPUSA event. Let me see. I'm going to go back to my messages and see what else I pulled up and sent to myself. Oh, well, this was kind of funny, because I love sports too, so we could talk about this. I didn't see it live when it was happening. I was watching a different game. But the Detroit Lions taking on the Washington Commanders. And if you didn't see, check it out. Amon-Ra St. Brown, great, one of the top wide receivers in the NFL. After scoring a touchdown, he and some other players did the Trump dance. And some people tried to give him shit over it. I think some former NFL cornerback or something, 8 years. It wasn't even a name I recognized. Said something about it. You know, this whole idea is just ridiculous because he said something about Detroit and the black community. Since when? It's just the most racist, bigoted thing to assume that all black people should think alike. All. That's just not a thing. And I tell you, I'm so grateful for anyone who is a minority that has the courage to be a conservative openly, because they get attacked so hard for no reason other than they're not supporting their skin color, which is absolutely ridiculous. It's a fun little dance. He had fun with it. They had booed the president earlier. That was no surprise. It was kind of a little shameful, though, that he's swearing in, right, a new class, and people are booing. And somebody said something about the fact that he said, state your name. Why wouldn't he say state your name? Would he say blank? Would he just skip that? No, he's saying state their name. So at that point, as they're repeating along with him, they say their fucking name. I don't know why some people thought that was unusual or weird. Okay? It's not like the weird gaffes that Biden used to make. It's just so stupid. It just really is. But, yeah, you know, the Lions looked very, very good. Who didn't look good was my Pittsburgh Steelers, right? Good Lord, we are wasted Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, so here's the dude. Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback Jordan Lewis appeared to take a swipe at St. Brown for performing the Trump dance. Lewis, a 9-year veteran in the NFL, played 8 years with the Cowboys, let his thoughts known on social media before deleting at least one post. The truth comes to light, he wrote on Monday night before adding separately, you do that in one of the blackest cities in America. I'm telling you, I don't understand people that think that black people can't be bigoted or racist too, even against their own. Like, y'all have to think alike. You don't understand how crazy bigoted that is, that somebody doesn't agree with you and you think everyone of your own skin color. What if I thought every white person should think like me? That's just stupid. And then the next day he wrote, I'm supposed to spread love. Well, look, dude, you already said who you are. We already know who you are. So, St. Brown, after the celebration, after the game, I heard Trump was going to be at the game. Brown explained, I don't know how many times the president is going to be at the game, so just decided to, have some fun, do his dance. I don't know who he voted for. I don't know if he's really conservative. I don't really know. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Maybe he's just a guy that likes to play football, and this was a funny thing he could do, and he just wanted to have some fun. The president's here. The president got to see my dance. The president's going to tell other people, yeah, I don't know if you saw, but I was at that Commanders Lions game, and the president was there. I was there, and one of the wide receivers, great wide receiver, great guy. Trump's going to build him up, and he did my dance. That was pretty cool. I don't know how I just got that to do that, or if Leo fixed it back home watching this. I don't know. We got to figure this out. You got to help me, Leo. I can't have these fucking calls come in. I have the block on that you gave me, and somehow a call still goes in, and I tried to delete it, hoping, that would stop it and it wouldn't freeze this. So if anybody's still there, great. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Just such stupid shit. But we fight on. I grind on because that's what I do. Yes, President Jimmy, a sitting U.S. president attending a regular season game in the NFL is rare. The last president to attend a game while in office was President Jimmy Carter in '78. Trump was at Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans and went to a Steelers game last year while on the campaign trail. He loves sports, and he knows a lot of MAGA love sports. We do. Maybe even some of you liberals like that. Why does everything have to be Trump every day, all fucking day? Which is what you make it. You're revolving your life around Trump and then telling us you're not triggered. You're clearly fucking triggered. You're miserable. And I can tell you, I am not fucking miserable. And in fact, this is probably one of the happiest times of my entire life. Literally one of the happiest times. It's top 3. Easy, top 3. My own daughter is of course number 1 in her birth. And this probably comes right after that. I'll even say it's number 2. It's absolutely amazing and phenomenal being a grandfather and the different perspective that puts me in. In some different relationships I was in, I was a little bit of a stepdad here and there or a grandpa, but nothing like this is totally different. I thought that was something and it's not. This is something. And getting to be here and participate and being able to spend this time with my daughter and her newborn and her husband, I got to tell you, man, I'm just so blessed. I don't have to ask anybody's permission. I don't have to worry about paid days off. My business goes on. I've been getting messages every day, working my business. I've been helping people, reading labs like I always do. I'm doing the same things here in Nashville as I do at home, except I'm getting to spend some really great time with my family, with my daughter. And there is no person on this planet that is more important to me than my daughter. And there won't be the rest of my life. Because I've shared with you, I'm a recovering alcoholic, been sober for 17 years. I made mistakes. Even though I was an alcoholic, in many respects, I was a good provider for my daughter and our family at the time. But there were, just other things that just, I had to own up to and that were my own responsibility and created strains in the relationship. And I deserved whatever I got because the responsibility was mine. The responsibility was mine. The responsibility was mine to figure out, to keep grinding, to work out, and to get back to the point that we're at now and having that relationship, especially the last couple of years, get just better and better. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful I didn't give up. And that's just always been the key for me, as I've shared with you, podcast after podcast. I share with you just grinding it out and doing those things, how important that's been to the success I've had in my life. And I've had failure too. I just don't talk about the successes. I talk about the failures, but I don't concentrate on them. I don't make myself a victim of them. I could have been miserable the past year, just having the shit that I had to deal with. But I feel like I had more good shit than bad shit, and the good shit was really fucking good. And I got past the bad shit and focused on the good, and you get more of what you put more of your focus on. So I wanted more focus to be on the good shit, and I feel like, wow, what an incredible year. But if I really looked back and analyzed it, and a little reality check, there were some crazy, not good things that happened. So it's all in how we respond to it. And I'm getting better and better at that. And I don't know if I'll ever be, I just expect to improve. I expect to make progress. That's what AA taught me. I don't expect perfection. And I just want to keep going down that road of making progress. And that's what I want for other people too. And that's what attracts some people to me, to my story, to, doing business with me, to interacting with me and becoming a part of my circle or my world in some way. And I'm glad that I can make that contribution and going to continue to do that in whatever I can. And just believing that the impact that I can have is not this, that it's this. That's what I want. I want to go from this to this kind of an impact. And I'm not for everybody. I'm not going to try to be for everybody. You know, you just got people that are just miserable and are going to shit on whatever. You know, it's so funny. Social media, going back to social media, right? Some dude I got into it with because he was just hating on Charlie. He was basically one of those guys that was celebrating Charlie's death. And so we had a little bit of a back and forth. And I ended up getting pretty mean. If you hit me, I'm not going to apologize for hitting you harder. I'm not going to do it. And you don't get to cry a victim then, oh, I was an asshole, but Troy said this about me, and nobody should ever say this. And he was such a little fucking crybaby. And so he thought he was going to try to expose me, right? So in this one group, he puts up our messages between each other. I have all the messages, dude. And he only shows ones that make him look a little less like an asshole, but still an asshole. And ones he thinks going to make me look like really terrible. And I didn't care. And some people commented about it. He posted. I'm like, dude, I don't care if you post it publicly. It would have all been publicly anyways if they wouldn't have closed off the comments. So some people say things. Oh, they check out my page. He must have roid rage, steroids. That must be it. He must have a little dick. Look at that Corvette. So I have a little dick apparently because of my Corvette. Or we have a little dick if we have a truck that's jacked up a little bit, right? Or we have a little dick because we're I don't know, gym rats or something, muscle heads, things like that. And the one guy, he posted this picture, and I'm like, dude, do you know how awesome a picture? It was a picture of Dawn and I last year, not this year, last summer in July, when we went up north into Arizona and went to a fireworks up there and a big event that they had up there. And I looked pretty good. I looked pretty big at that time. Looked pretty big in the picture too. Like, dude, what do you think you're showing people, that I'm jacked and I'm 57? Oh, if you I could get that way too if I took that stuff. Well, then do it. And but if you come off, you're gonna shrink up. I'm not coming off. I'm on TRT. I'm on testosterone replacement therapy. So not gonna happen. So you could think this is fake muscle. You could think that somehow I injected muscle into my ass. It doesn't work like that. And I don't have to explain it to people if I don't want to. But I talk about it because it's my business. My business is helping people do that kind of shit. But it's just funny that people, you hear that all the time. They're always coming back with the, little dick thing. Like, dude, why are you worried about my dick? I'm not fucking you. I don't roll that way. I'm not fucking you. You don't have to worry about the size of my dick. It's all good. So funny. Most people don't hate on Corvettes, though, honestly. I can't believe how many people like the Corvette. And it's been fun. Way more fun. I tell you that all the time than I thought it was going to be. So, yeah, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you do that kind of stuff. So, people like that, when they come at me, they act like they're the first one to ever do it. I'm 57 fucking years old. I've had so much stuff happen to me public for somebody who's not a celebrity, right? But it was big in the air. I was well known. So I was well known in Toledo. I was doing radio, TV, doing an article in a newspaper. I was known. And so when things happen to me, it's out there. It's there. Some of it's true, some of it's not. And what do you think you're going to do to me now saying whatever you're going to say? You're going to bring something up you think somehow is going to hurt me or my business? Dude, guess what? Most people don't know who the fuck I am. There you go. But I don't hide. I don't hide it on social media like some people do. They hide behind the privacy wall and shit like that. I don't hide a single thing. You can see everything. You don't have to be friends with me. You don't have to follow me. You can just find my page and go on and you can read everything and see everything and make your own judgment. And some are going to like me and some aren't. And I'm okay with that. I'm not trying to get everybody to like me. I don't need to be successful. That's the crazy part. And that always surprises. It's so crazy. Like when I talk to somebody, say, and mention about Patrick Bet David, you know, Patrick is quite the guy and's come an incredibly long way. And I love his PBD podcast as well. I love his story. And, you know, the dude's worth over, I don't know, he's not a billionaire yet, but he's somewhere between, I think, 500 million and a billion. I mean, it's a lot. And he's gotten more attention on mainstream newscasts too, where he'll appear and give opinions and popping up there over the last year and stuff. And then people that just won't even know who the fuck he is, man. Don't even know. I'll be talking to somebody, you ever see, I don't know who that is. And they're actually really, really big. And they don't, that's, so if somebody that big is not known to everyone, then I'm a nothing. I'm a zero. What do you think you're going to do? I only have to have my own little sliver to work with or to do for my business, and it's enough that provides a great life. Not a $500 million life, but a very, very good life nonetheless. Remember, I'm at the bottom of the 1%, and I think any of you can get there as well. We're not all going to be, you know, millionaires of 100 million or more, right? Am I answering questions by chance? Why, you got a question that might be worth answering? Shoot it at me. Let's see. Let's see if I want to answer questions. But so, as I was saying, yeah, you can't, people can't hurt me in that way. You know, if you wanted to say something about me and attack me over my YouTube account. Attack me over my YouTube account. This podcast. Look at you. You think you're big deal. You got your podcast. You only have 400 subscribers, right? Who created evil? What does that have to do with whatever we're discussing? You just randomly pop up on people's lives and just randomly ask that stuff? Go talk to a priest, man. Do I look like a priest to you? Good fucking Lord. Look, I'm just a saved sinner, brother. That's it. I'm just a saved sinner. That's all. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. And I do believe there is evil. So you can take from that whatever you want. But anyways. So maybe I shouldn't answer questions because you get dumb shit like that. But whatever. People, see, just like that, people want to chime in. They want to get their 2 seconds on a nothing fucking podcast. Isn't that crazy? But it is what it is. All right, let me go back. See what else I did. Oh, here's another one. This is crazy too. Share this with you. Transgender ex-lawmaker, first in state's history, pleads guilty to federal child sex abuse. Stacey Marie Lawton, and you should see a picture of this guy. This guy that's the ugliest Stacey you've ever seen in your whole fucking life. I mean, this is unbelievable. Lawton, who authorities identify using feminine pronouns, is accused of working with her ex-girlfriend. So the dude's talking about is about that. Oh my God. Groves, a former employee of the daycare center. His ex-girlfriend, Lindsay Groves, to exploit children at a daycare center called Creative Minds in Massachusetts. Groves, a former employee of the daycare, took nude photos of the children and sent them to Lawton in 2022, while Lawton served as a member of the Hampshire House of Representatives. According to an affidavit filed that year, authorities said that Groves took photos of 4 photos of children under the age of 5. Per the filing, Lawton and Groves, wow, these are some ugly motherfucking pictures. You should really see these. Maybe look it up. You want to see these. Because if I had Leo would post them on here for us, right? I miss you, Leo. When Lawton was elected as state representative in 2012, she was considered to be the first openly transgender person elected to a state legislature. She was also the first one in New Hampshire's history. That's just crazy. And these people are the one that, as we started the show, and I was saying, these are the people that are calling Trump a pedo with no evidence. But here we have this. Hopefully there's actually jail time in this case as opposed to others, which we went over, that abusing kids and not getting just is crazy. Let's see if I had any others. Yeah, see, some of these I really needed to be on shown on the show by Leo. One other one from earlier, Federal Appeals Court. This was earlier in the week. Texas may enforce the 2023 drag show ban. So there's that, and of course, Texas. I kind of want to, but I don't time one to the healthcare stuff, and I guess I will a little bit. It deserves more of a deeper dive, honestly. But it looks like everything's going to be, getting back to normal over the next few days and early next week. And there's going to be a lot of debate about who won, who lost in this, with the Democrats and the Republicans shutting down the government. What I do know is we lost because these guys aren't doing our job. They're not doing the job. On both sides, they're not doing their job. But I do blame the Democrats for this shutdown. I do blame Schumer for, ranting on and on about this healthcare crisis that we now have. All of a sudden, we have. Like he didn't know it was coming. They knew it was coming the day that they voted on and approved the Affordable Care Act. They knew. And they knew they were pushing some of the pain down the road, at least initially, to get Biden through his term in office. And then steadily, it's got worse since then. Okay, and this money, let me ask you this. If maybe you know this information, maybe you don't. But do you know how much the health insurance premiums went up under Biden last year for Obamacare? 4%. Do you know what it is this year? 26%. Why is there, and healthcare costs, as I understand it, have only been up like 6%. So if the cost for insurers is only going up 6%, why are they increasing rates by 26%? Somebody's got to pay for that. And that's the problem with this. There's no checks or balances, and because so much is being given and in putting people into these programs, and the expansion of the program, and then the enhancements that they've done too that were supposed to be limited, you're just handing over money, fist over fist, to these insurance companies. The people aren't getting better care. Nothing is done to improve the system. Why are they being allowed to increase this that much? Why isn't Congress doing something to rein in these increases? And 26% it's just not doable. It's just not doable. And you can't ask other people to continually pay for other people. You got to look, I'm a big believer in personal responsibility. Huge. We can help the poor, we can help the downtrodden, we can help people who need help, but this just gets way, way out of hand, and this isn't working. And the people that are being enriched are the drug companies, the hospitals, and the insurance companies. You're not getting better care with all this money being spent. You're not. And there has to be another or better answer. But conservatives didn't create this problem. Democrats created this problem. They created the ACA, and then under Obama, they expanded the subsidies. They gave enhanced subsidies during COVID. And they put a sunset provision in there. That sunset provision is the end of this year. Now, They knew that this was going to happen. They could have taken care of it or negotiated or talked about how to, hey, we did put a sunset provision in this, and it's, say, 2 years after they originally did it. So it's 2023. Hey, can we talk about this? Can we come up with something, idea on how we can keep some of this permanent or expand or change the program in this way or whatever? They could have done something, but they chose not to. And then now they tried to use it as a weapon to get things that were not related to healthcare at all. That $1.5 trillion that's talked about was not healthcare, and people throw that number around like it's a wrong number. No, it's all of the things that the Democrats were demanding. They weren't just demanding people that the enhanced subsidies get extended. They weren't just demanding that. They were demanding a whole bunch of other things, and things that they lost because they lost the election. They lost control of the House and the Senate and the presidency. And whatever party controls them gets to have more of what they want. That's just how it works. And what the opposition is supposed to do is to put a little check on that and not have them not go crazy. And that's supposed to work that way both ways. Both ways. But each side wants all or nothing. And that's not working out for us. We have to demand more. We have to demand better. But the blame should go where the blame should go. And something needs to be done with healthcare. This Obamacare is not working. And the Republicans have failed in the past when they wanted to get rid of Obamacare to tell people what would replace it. What would replace it? And whatever replaces it has to also include, as I've said time after time, because the only thing good we got out of Obamacare was care for pre-existing conditions. That's it. But we can do that with whatever program we set up, right? We can do that. That's not a hard one. So, but Obamacare is not working. And they don't really want to acknowledge that. They just want more money. And we need to, some of us out here, there's not many of us, that are screaming for a balanced budget. Why is it, I think it was 99? I'll look it up for the next show. Let me write it down even. I think it was 99 last budget, the last time they passed a budget. Instead, we do this piecemeal shit throughout the year, year after year after year, and it's ridiculous. They should be required to. And there should be some mechanism that kicks in that if they don't, that it automatically creates some cuts or goes back to a previous year or whatever. It's something that forces members, that's an incentive for both sides to come and work together. That's what I'm looking for. And I don't know what that is yet, what mechanism can make that happen. But that's the kind of mechanism I would be looking for to make this happen for these guys so that it happens for us, because there's no other way. And we've talked and screamed about the deficit long enough. So that gets us closer. We all need Jesus. God bless. So there you go. That's going to be the show for today. Not going to go too long because I have a grandchild that I'm see. I have a great video I'm going to share with y'all next week and show you something very special that was done for me and my daughter by a very good friend of mine. And I can't wait to share that with you so y'all can see it, because it's truly a blessing to have friends like this and this life and have a wonderful new grandchild. So proud, so happy. Hopefully y'all have a great, rest of the week. Again, I will not be here on Friday. We're going to play Dawn's video. Hit that subscribe button for us. We're at 400 now. We hit 400. Woo, should I do this? Say I'm jerking people off. Don't care. The Trump dance. I'm just excited. I'm a grandpa. So there's that. So Monday we'll be back live. Check out the video with the interview with Dawn on Friday. Find us on other social media. We appreciate you. Love you. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy.